quickly. They want to know what is the whole deal, or do you know anything about Penta water, or is it P-E-N-T-A? Water?
Yes,
have you ever heard of that?
P-E-N-T-A. P-E-N-T-A.
Right.
Yes, that's a 5-molecule. That's a 5-molecule water, 5-oxygen molecule water. That water is not the best water either. See, that water is making the people out like the smart water.
Really?
When they put a certain name on the water, the people think that the water is a healthier water because it has a different name. But see, what we do, we test the water. There's a test equipment called the pH tester. You can get it at any swimming pool place. pH tester, you can take a little water and you put this solution of this pH tester in there. It's a red solution. You put it in the water and it'll tell you the color of the water. Now, the color of the water tells you the pH of the water. This water that I speak of, that we all need to be drinking to be healthier, turns purple. Purple is like the purple when you're eating blueberries. It's the purple that ties in the crown chakra, to make the crown chakra healthy. It's the color, purple is the color like a purple amethyst. It's the most beautiful color you would ever want to see. It tells us that this water has the highest charge water besides some equipment that I have that can test the electrical charge of the hydrogen. It can tell you if the hydrogen is negative or positive, and it gives you a number. It tells you how powerful the water is. When we test a PETA water is more acidic. It's like the smart water that people are spending money for every day, but it's not making their bodies healthier.
It's really interesting because that makes me want to, when I was a teenager, my job was actually a lifeguard. And, of course, I had to test the water every hour. So I know exactly what kit you're talking about, and that just kind of jogged my memory to having to test the pH and, you know, so forth and so on, the chlorine and all of that in the water every hour on the break, you know. And it's just really interesting that, you know, pentagram, but this Penta water and smart water, and, you know, you're right. You know, when you start looking at it, like you said, you test all of the water. It's very interesting how, and not surprising, just interesting how so much of this marketing has been so misleading, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. But this is why everybody has to become a scientist. Everybody has to become a scientist, Janice. And everybody has to be able to test water to know the difference in waters. Because water alone can have a major effect on the improvement of our community's health. Just that one element, water, just those two chemicals, H2O. So what I now have found, Janice, is that the people that drink this water that I speak of, I've seen them improve. I've seen people who drink this water for acid reflux. You've heard of acid reflux, have you not, Janice?
Yes.
Well, acid reflux can cause such a burn in your throat that it can cause lesions to grow in your throat, which causes ulcers in your throat, which can cause esophageal cancer. That's where cancer of the throat comes from, esophageal cancer.
Really?
That's where it comes
from.
So
quick question.
It comes from acid reflux. Acid reflux.
Right. So, doctor, quick question. So, if esophageal cancer can come from ulcers in the esophagus, then does stomach cancer does that come from stomach ulcers?
That's where it comes from.
So then the food and then like coffees or like certain drinks that people or food that people eat and drinks that, you know, are high or even stress, they say cause ulcers, that can give you cancer ultimately.
Yes, but also there's something called pyloric. This is a bacteria that can cause pyloric, L pyloric. But getting back to the acid reflux in the throat, The acid reflux is like sulfuric acid. If a person ever had chemistry and they took sulfuric acid and they dropped it in the water in the sink, it would cause like an explosion. It would have a reaction with water. So this is what the acid in our body does when we're drinking regular water. It has a reaction whereby it helps to cause a burn up in the throat. And when we're drinking regular water, it helps temporarily, but it doesn't correct the problem. We have to have this Kangen water that will neutralize that acid and remove the acid from our body so that our esophageal could heal back up. I had some people that came to see me from Tennessee. They had a lesion on their throat, and their internist was telling them that they might have to get an operation on their throat. Now, I know some people who had an operation on their throat. And after having the operation, the person had a big hole in their throat where they had to start drinking through a straw. In 6 months, they were dead. In 6 months, a 47-year-old was dead. They burned the person with radiation in their throat. The person died within 6 months. So this acid reflux that this person had, when I put them on the water, it started healing up their throat. Start correcting the acid reflux. Now, normally, in the medical system, they have a medication called Nexium. And if you were to Google, Janice, on the Internet, if you were to Google Nexium and look up side effects of it, you would be surprised by the side effects of the Nexium. Now, we find that when one drinks this water, one would start feeling better. Their skin would start getting better. Their energy would start getting better. And we find that when one drinks tap water, you can test the tap water. There's a solution that is a chlorine tester. It can tell you how much chlorine is in the water. You can take this solution, put it in your tap water, it will turn it yellow, just like bleach. Then take some onions, chop them up, and put them in that water that has turned yellow. And you will notice that 5 minutes after the onions is in that water with the chlorine, that all the chlorine will be out of the water and the water will be clear, which means that that yellow of the bleach has just went into your food.
Wow.
Not only do you have the chlorine from the water, but now you got chlorine, you got bleach in your food. You're eating bleach and drinking bleach, and you're having your children eat and drink bleach in the food, and we wonder why we're sick.
We have a caller really quickly with a question. Cassandra, are you there? Check 1 second. Cassandra, are you on the line?
I am. I'm sorry. I'm in commute home. So he just talked about a lot of the things that kind of affect me. So I was just wondering, like, is there anything that you use until you can get this system to clean the water?
Well, you have to go to a place at the health food store. They sell this water now. This water I speak of, yes, this water I speak of is, you can't store this water. You have to drink it in 48 hours.
Okay.
Because this water loses its vitality. So where do you live? Where do you live?
In Hyde Park.
There's a store on 87th Street. Well, there's a store on 71st Street, 71st and Jeffrey. The health food store right over there. They sell this water.
Okay.
71st, right across from the shopping mall.
Okay.
Harvest Health Food Store. They sell the water. You need to buy this water, and you'll be able to tell the difference in your health. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Start
great.
out with 8.5. With the 8.5, yes.
Okay. I would definitely try it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, Cassandra.
Thanks.
Let me tell you about this last thing before I hang up, before this conference call is over, Janice. one of the things that intrigued me and excited me, that when I first learned about this water, there was this Japanese who had gangrene that had developed in his feet. They were supposed to cut off both of his toes on both feet. You could go to a website called The Water Truth, T-H-E, thewatertruth.com, and you would be able to see a video of this Japanese who had this diabetes. He had this gangrene on his toes. It was a horrific graphic view of his toes. When you go on there, thewatertruth.com, you'll be able to see it. Anyway, he was at this one hospital. They were going to cut the toes off on one foot and the other foot. They had taken x-rays, and the bone on his feet had started breaking down from the infection setting up. So he found out that this other hospital had the water machine, so he left that hospital and went to this hospital in the suburbs. They had him drinking the one water. He was drinking liters of it, and then he was soaking his feet in this other water that I said that could kill the microbes and the E. coli and what have you, the 2.5, that he was soaking his feet in that water to kill the microbes in his feet that was causing the gangrene. 45 days later, his feet have healed up 65%. 45 days later, his feet have healed up 65%.
Wow,
to the point
bones
that
were
he
already
did not have to have his toes cut off. Say what?
I said his bones were already breaking down, and it basically started to reverse.
The bones restored, the tissue restored. You have to go to thewatertruth.com and pull that video up about this Japanese, where you could see how if the water alone restored him, and they show him walking. They show him walking after 45 days because his feet were all, they had taken his feet and they had wrapped them all up. They had wrapped the feet all up. So you see him walking to the shopping mall 45 days later. But his feet had healed up 65%. When you go to that website, you could also see some other videos on how the water is used to kill the E. coli and salmonella on their meats, on their foods. You will also see how water could help to clear up the psoriasis, the eczema on the skin of babies and of older people.
Doctor?
You also see how the water cleans the chemicals off the food at thewatertruth.com, at that website called thewatertruth.com.
Absolutely.
Thewatertruth.com.
And I think we're going to go ahead and post that on the page. No, absolutely.
I want to leave you with that.
Yeah, before you go, I believe we have actually one of our previous speakers that had a quick note about the water, and then we'll get into our final questions. Tammy, are you on the line? Tammy, are you there? Okay. So, Doc, do you have any final notes before we get into our last few questions about the water, where they could, well, you already said in Hyde Park, the closest place was, I believe you said 71st and Jeffrey.
On 71st and Jeffrey.
Yeah. Is there anywhere that people can look online to find the closest place to them, or is it just a matter of researching?
No, it's a matter of researching.
Oh, okay.
I know a place on the west side over on Roosevelt and Troy, between Troy and Kedzie, that they can get the water, and those are two health food stores that I know they can get the water at. But people have to do their research.
Right, and so if they're just outside of Chicago, then they'll just have to search. But it's more popular than it used to be, I'd imagine, for people to be able to obtain it, I'm assuming.
Right, well, those are two places I know they can get it from.
Okay, was there anything else that you wanted to add?
Just that everybody needs to be a scientist of their own health. Everybody needs to become knowledgeable. If the people on this call became more knowledgeable, they could help to save their mothers, fathers, aunties, uncles, cousins, grandmothers, and grandfathers. Now, is their life worth becoming more knowledgeable so that you can bring them some greater days of health as well as yourself? that was my interest, and that's what put me on this journey